Hey everybody, welcome to my stream. I'm Tim, I'm your host, and I also work for Luculent Media, so you guys will see a Luculent Media logo kind of floating around over there. And we'll just put it up here for now. So what we're going to do today is we've worked really hard on getting our stuff up and running and making it all very worthwhile and kind of a complete system, I guess is what you could say. So what we're doing now is we're making it look really good. So what we did was we went back to our page, which happens to be the menu 1 page, and we've done some work on it. And what we did is we changed the color of the primary buttons, as you can see, so that they're all just pretty much the same. And we've made well, that was kind of bad because I just put something on the invoice. All right, so we'll just cache sale that and call it done. But I want to show you guys how to do some pretty cool things. So to make it really look neat, awesome, and stand out. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring. You guys saw that race by there just a second. I had to pop the chat out just in case someone wanted to talk. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to change the colors. We're going to show you how to, like, this particular button is a pop-out button, if you guys remember, so it pops over. So what I did with this button, which is pretty cool, is I added this category items to the bottom, and I took away the color to the outside. Now, how I did that was if you click on your button and you come here, you'll see the solid fill color, and then the line color. Let's see. Let's do this. Let's do it to the other one. So if we go into drinks, this is what it normally looked like. So it was very very dark and dismal on the outside. We wanted to give it kind of a new age look, look pretty cool. And we currently have no script trigger. So if we click on the item itself, the color comes up here. So if we just go to none, no color, we get this beautiful kind of a floating bubble with all of the pieces inside of it. And we can change the color of the line as well. So if we want to, we can go to a pretty neat purple color, and we can make it a little bit bigger. So it's like a 2 instead of a 1, which is basically double the size, but it's pretty cool. You'll see Andrew in the background. He is doing some work on another video at the same time, so we're pretty busy here at Luculent today. So now if what we do is we can grab all of these, which is kind of nice. So all I did was I started in the corner, I left clicked, and then just kind of drug a square around everything. And so now we have these, and actually I really like the color, but if you click on this little pendulant here, you can change that color to make it either lighter or darker or whatever really appeals to you. So and you can really switch them up. If you watch some of my earlier videos, you can tell that it can be very intense, because you can change the top color and the center color and meld all that stuff together. Really make it cool. So now if we exit this and we exit the layout and we click on drinks, this is what we get. We get this really neat floating window with a line around it. But as you can tell, here it says drinks at the top. And that's really not what we want. We want to be able to visually know what window that is, like instantaneously. We don't want to have to mess with, what fine print. And one of the things I found is that this word drinks, which basically comes from, so if we edit the layout here and we double click on it, what we have is we have the label. This is what the button says right here. This drinks is what the button is actually saying. This is actually what the label is at the top. So, and if we delete that and then we click off of it, it disappears. So now if we click on this and we elongate it a little bit, gives a little bit more room. Now we have this space at the bottom that we can actually add something. So what we're going to do is we're going to just take a text tool because text we can change. That the label at the top of the button we cannot change. We can't mess with it. We can't do anything with it unless we can. And maybe on a future video I'll show you how to do that, but it takes a lot of programming to do that, so you have to get in there and change it, identify the color, identify the text, identify the size of the font, and the whole 9 yards. So this is just a lot easier because you can just select it. You don't actually have to go through all that stuff. So here we will type in-house drinks. Not that you would want yours to say in-house drinks, but it could say absolutely anything. So because you notice we have like several links that say drinks, and we'll make it 24. New Times Roman is just fine. I want to bold it a little bit, and I want to change that color. And I think we're going to go with this color. So now what we can do is we can take it and actually line it up, which is kind of cool. And then if we press our up and down buttons, which is just our control pad number control thing, we'll see that eventually you get to a spot where it's like centered, so it's right in the right spot in comparison to the rest of the buttons. And that's kind of what we want, because I like to keep everything as near perfect as I possibly can. And now if we just close it down just a little tiny bit, we have then perfected it. So it looks pretty cool. It says in-house drinks right at the bottom. So now when you go and you get into this button, that's what you're going to see is it's going to come up right at the bottom of the thing, in-house drinks. So the labeling is much more clear, and it's pretty interesting. I like the way that it presents itself in the file itself, actually like on the iPad, because I put mine on my iPad. My registers are on my iPads. And this looks really super nice. It looks super professional. And then we can do the same thing with all of the rest of them. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you, if we grab, as we've got all of these buttons basically set up like this, if we were to grab a line of them, and let's say we wanted to make some changes, so we'll grab our inspector button, and we want the fill to go to gradient just the way that it was, but we want to change this color, and we want it to be a red or light red. Let's do a light red because the dark reds just look really bad. So we'll make them a red. And you can do this with all your stuff. But notice how messed up it is. See how the lines are kind of gone or disappeared? The reason why that is because here we actually have a box. And this box, you've added a gradient to everything inside of that box. So if we take this gradient and we say none, it fixes it. It all of a sudden brings it back to where it was before. So what we would have to do is we now have to go through and select none for all of these little text boxes that we have going. So you have to remember that when you grab something, that something is going to always be, it's going to be linked to something else, and we don't want to do that. So we want them all to be kind of the same, the same looking. So how you would select all of these is you could just go right at the very top, like so. I really apologize for that sound. I didn't know that it was on. And now we can go back in and we can change just that portion of it. So I believe we're looking at, it's one farther down, right? I think it's this one. Okay. So now they're all pretty much the same, and we can also change the blend rates and the ratios and switch up the, so if you click on this, do you see this little bar right here? If you move this bar, it changes what happens to the color or the gradient in the background. So if you wanted it just to be in one corner and just kind of come out, you can do that. But if not, then you can do, I'm going to Control Z, Z. So pushing Control Z is it's backing up. It's deleting the last thing that you did and going back to normal, which is what we wanted to do in that particular case. Now, one of the coolest things that I found, which is so underused, no one ever uses it, but I believe it's a super cool thing, And I'm going to show it to you here in just a second. So we're going to exit. We're not going to edit the layout. We're just going to, this is just regular browse mode or visual mode. So what we're going to do is if we go into category, we press category, notice what it looks like. See how it looks? It's so there. It just looks like amazingly professional. But if we go to the drinks one, is it different? It's different, isn't it? You see the difference between the two of them? The difference is, in this one, my boxes have shadows, so it adds a depth to the button itself. So if we press on a button, you know, it adds a beautiful depth. Now you can also change what happens to a button when you press on it, but we'll get into that in just a minute. So let's go into this one and let's put some shadows on this one so you guys can see. So I'm going to double click it. And now if I call up the inspector, we'll go into the inspector, and we've clicked on it. What we can do is we can go into, this one says outer shadow. I don't know why it doesn't have an inner shadow. Turkey. Anyway, you'd go into the outer shadow part and you change the color, obviously, so that it's not a super dark shadow. So we'll add a light shadow, but for some reason it's not doing, forget it. I know what I'm doing. Let's just get rid of that, because that is wrong. What we have to do is we have to select the buttons themselves, don't we? So now if we select the buttons, we can put an outer shadow on the buttons. And now let's take a look at making the color, the correct color. So I like mine to be really light, and if you change this offset, you can see what happens. So all of a sudden now you have this massive offset that goes one direction. If we go another direction, we go down or we go up. I personally myself kind of like them to be down. Oop, that's a lot too much, isn't it? And I think we'll move this just a little bit farther over like that. All right. Now we have the opacity, so can you see through it? That's the thing. In this right now you can't see through it. So if I just highlight it, type in 25 and then click back off of it, now the opacity has changed and you can see through it more readily. And I want to blur it because it's just too, yeah, see, it was just too overwhelming. So I'm going to blur it just a little bit. The more that you blur it, the more visually contexting it becomes. And we can change that color, make it a little darker, so when you blur it, it really stands out. And we can blur the heck out of it. So now it's like, it's very blurry, it sticks way out, and it's got a beautiful texture to it, a beautiful visual aspect. And I think on my other one I didn't quite go quite as dark with that. Come on, pop up. Yeah, I didn't go quite as dark with that outer shadow. So let's see. Yep. Let's do a little bit darker. That way and my opacity was set to 100. I think I did 25 last time. That's what it should be. My blur is currently at 7. So apparently when I changed the opacity level to 25, it almost disappeared, and that's what the reason was. So if I go 75, this is a great way to mess with the colors, I guess. Click on speed. So now that one looks pretty good. I like it. I think though that the box itself would be pretty cool if you could change the overall appearance of the box. So all right, So here we have it. These are bright yellow, and I think I like that bright yellow. I just do. I just like that bright yellow. So I think I'm going to change these back to bright yellow. That way there's a distinguishing factor between them. They're different, so when people do pull them up, they're like, oh, okay, yeah, we're in a different window. Now, if you guys remember correctly, there was a reason why we actually brought this up, why we put these in here like this. Because from menu, we wanted quick access. We wanted access to all kinds of other things. Because this isn't like a single page unit. This is, let me close this down. I'll explain it quick like. So what this is this is the menu 1. So what you would have on this page would be like all of your candies or all of your drinks or all of your hamburger types. And you can add, if you were selling like hamburgers, you could have like 6 different types of hamburgers, and then these bottom ones you could use for like condiments. So if they wanted onion rings or the French fries or certain kind of fry or certain kind of thing with it, you could add all that stuff into there. Let's say they wanted it cooked medium rare, and there was a fee for that, or there was a fee for adding extra pickles or extra lettuce or mayo or whatever. You could add all that stuff into this page, and then you could have these actually take you to another page if you wanted to. But for the most part, what this would do is this menu button would take you back to the primary menu. So if you went to this page, the only place you could go from this page is back to the primary menu. Whereas these category buttons, the cool thing is you can actually select different categories. So, and that was the purpose behind it. That was the purpose behind doing this the way that we did. So that if you clicked on this, you had all of these spaces. So like Pepsi products or Coca-Cola products, whatever. Fountain drinks. You could have fountain drinks here that would take you to the fountain drinks page. You could have burgers that would take you to the burger page. You could have pies or desserts that would take you to the dessert page. You can always have too many buttons, but you can't have, you don't want to have not enough buttons. So that's kind of the thing that we want to make sure that we have correct. Is that you have adequate space to do what you need to get done. And we've already showed you how to program in like the jawbreakers and the sodas and to do all that neat stuff. So if we go from here, we exit the layout, and we go to the menu page. What is the menu page? Because we should have, apparently we don't have a menu page. Apparently this is the menu page. This is menu 1. So in the very beginning, what we would do is we would have, let's edit the layout. We would have a primary page that you go to that would send you into other places. So entry menu, that's a page that we would have. The entry menu does like register 1, register 2, register 3. That individual would log into a specific register, because you can't have two tablets running on the same register, the same program. They can run on the same program. That's not what I mean. How can I best explain it? So if 2 people got in on the register 1, 2 people were logged into register 1, every time someone sold something, it would put it on the other person's invoice. So if this person pressed a soda and this person pressed a soda, there's now 2 sodas on your invoice. If this person pressed a hamburger and this person pressed extra fries and blah blah blah, all this other stuff, they would be combining the 2 of them. So you can do it, but it's a combination, so it puts everything together. That's why we're separating them: register 1, register 2, and register 3, whatever, so that you can have each person walk around. Now you can do this a dozen times. So and I'm relating to a cafe only because to people that makes the most sense. To most viewers, it makes most sense. So in this particular instance, if you had 5 waitresses, each waitress could carry, you could have 5 of these buttons here, and each waitress could carry a tablet with them, and just type in the tablet. Just put in, select, oh, you want a hamburger, medium rare, blah, 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 the whole 9 yards. Whatever it is that you want to do, you could add all that stuff onto the register. It would automatically go into the computer system on the back once you did that. And I can show you how to make that stuff too. That's pretty simple. But right now, today we're looking at beautification, making this as pretty and as nice as you possibly can. So here's our template page. This is what it looked like before. You guys remember what it looked like before? This is what it looked like kind of when we started making the page, and we're like, wow, what is this? But then we changed that. We went to just the regular menu one, and now this is what it looks like. So we've grown quite a bit. Yeah, we'll hang out here for a little while. So one of the let's move our inspector over here so we can see it, because I know you guys can't see if it's not in the right space. So one of the things that I did do here was I added this spot that you see right here, and it says, this says quantity, and what it's for is to add the quantity of how many. So and it's actually, if I click on it, see how it will let me do this? I can press in 10, push in whatever you want to push in. And so what that does is, if I were to press jawbreakers, it would sell 10 jawbreakers. Well, right now we don't have that in that program, right? So if we press jawbreaker, it still stays there. And if we go to our invoice, we basically sold 1 jawbreaker and then 10 jawbreakers at $15.59. So apparently it sold them all. So if we cash sale that one out, clear it, now we're at 0. Our number is 017. We go back to our menu page, 017, and we press jawbreaker again. Go to our invoice. Now it sells 10 jawbreakers. So it did sell 10 jawbreakers. I must have pushed that jawbreaker button sometime in the past. So let's go back in. Let's go back to our menu button really fast, and let's find out what we did right on that. So we're going to exit or edit the layout. And if we double click on the button itself, we have this thing here, and it says master button. So we can either go into the master button, just click directly on the word, and it'll bring you up in this page, or you can press this button, and it will say specify the script. So that's how you change you pick hi CK, how's it going? It's good to see you. This would actually create, you are late. Of course, I wasn't really intending on doing a video today, but I did, and I am doing a video. So this actually will let you select a different a script. So if you wanted to use a different script, then this is what you could do. Okay, so that's how you change those. Is this one will get you into the script, and the other one allows you to change the script. So from here, what we do is we see that we want to freeze the window, set variable, the code bot, script parameter. Let's see. Set variable. I wonder what I was thinking here. Lock. Oh, okay, that was a number lock. Okay, value code bot. If is empty, menu quantity, set variable, sale amount, value equals 1. Okay, if not is empty, and this is menu quantity down here, this button. Set variable, sale amount, menu quantity. Okay, but what are we missing here? So what we're missing here is that we need to set the field, right? So we're just going to double click on field. It's going to add it to it, and we have to specify that, and it's menu quantity, and the calculated result needs to just be the quotation marks, because we need to be able to clear out what was in that box. Otherwise, it's just going to stay full forever and ever and ever, and we won't be able to change it unless we physically go in and change it every single time, and we don't really want to do that. So now we're going to go into the inventory admin, and they're going to enter the find mode, and we're going to change the inventory, and things are going to happen. Okay, so now we should have that correct. So let's close her down. We'll exit the layout. Let's go to our invoice. And we see there's nothing on the invoice and we're on 18. So we'll go back to the menu page and it shows that we're on 18, and we're going to press, we have 10 right here, and if we press the Jawbreaker button, all of a sudden the quantity button goes to 0. There's nothing in the quantity area anymore. And if we go back to our invoice, we now have 10 of them, and I don't know, oh, I remember, because this number we didn't highlight, we didn't set a script trigger, so we didn't tell it to view. So we just basically are leaving it like that. Of course, that's a window. There's so many cool things that we can do. So yeah, you can see Andrew CK. He is sitting in the background kind of messing around on some computer stuff over there. Because the studio is so tiny, it's hard to keep people out of frame or out of the area. So Andrew is sitting over there working on something currently, and I'm over here. Typically, Andrew's desk is across from mine. It's just right on this side and not on that side. But we have a computer system on that side as well, so that's why he's over there working on that stuff. And sometimes he plays video games on that side too. So now what we're seeing is we're seeing all of this stuff, and notice we can't change any of these numbers, which is exactly what we want, but we can put in the tendered. So if we put in a $15 amount and we click off, now it changes this to 83 cents. So, but what we can do is we can tell this thing not to, we can tell it not to create anything until there's been actually something put in there. What game play Andrew? I am not sure what game Andrew will play today, to be honest with you. I know he wants to do some Titanfall, and I know that because he does Titanfall, Minecraft, Ark, and there's a couple of them that he actually plays. Quite a few of them that he actually plays. Okay, so now we have this, and we can go into cache sale and just go ahead and clear it out. And notice this window. Do you guys like this window? Because you can change these windows so that they better appear to what you want to do, so that they look better, right? So let's do that really quick. Let's make one of these windows look pretty cool. So we're going to go ahead and verify it, and we're going to edit the layout, and we will double click this little turkey, and then so it shows us this, right? And now we can change it. We can make this pretty cool. And let me show you how to do that really quick, because I love making things totally cool. So from here, what we're going to do is I'm going to go no color, and I'm going to change the line to a 2. And because this is a green thing, I want it to be very green. So I'm going to add, the line is going to be a green line around it. And now I'm going to add slightly to this. And I'm going to take these two buttons by all I did was I right-clicked, or left-clicked, excuse me, drag a box around them. So, and you don't even have to drag a box around them. Let me show you what else you can do. You can just click and hold right, and then up. All you have to do is just touch them, and then you would be able to actually change where they are, or manipulate where they are on the system. So there we are. We moved it down, and now I want to add. I'm going to click off into this add. And I'm going to add some text. And I'll do verify cache sale. And now I'm going to go backwards because it's a glitchy, very, very, very glitchy system. Verify cache sale. Okay, now if we click off of this, we can make it 24, because you guys know that's my favorite number in the whole wide world when it comes to fonts, apparently, is 24. I'm going to make it bold, and I like mine to be a red color. I'm kind of big on that red color. I think that might be just a little darker than what I want. Okay, so if I grab a hold of it, oh, got it perfect. And now we have, as you can see, we have the verify and the cancel button below it. So it says verify cache sale. And this looks so much nicer. It looks so much neater. Click on it twice. It says cash sales. We have to get rid of that cash sales part. Click anywhere. And now the cash sale part is gone. Now you can't change the way the bubble actually is created. So I can't like move this bubble somewhere. Click on it and move it. It won't do anything like that. I can, however, change its attributes. Like, so if I double click on it, I can have it on the right side or the left side. I can have it above it. I can have it below it, wherever you want it. I like mine to just kind of hang out on this one side because that seems to be the most effective thing to put it into. And so this one, and this one, this button. Okay, that's not what I wanted. There's a script. Conditional formatting. What did I put in there? Value is below 0, bold, and add it to. So what we can do is we can actually change that to not bold and no color. And now let's go back. Let's exit the layout really quick. So now watch, see how cool that is? And you can still see behind it, right? You can see it. It just kind of pops. It really makes it, because look at this one. That one, this one. That one, this one. You tell me, which one do you like better? I personally like this floating bubble. And the cool thing is you can actually have, if you don't want the, so let's do this. Because you know me, I'm very particular. So we're going to click this. I'm going to get the inspector really quick. And let's go to appearance. I don't know why it just showed up on the wrong thing. Let's go with no color. Exit the layout. And now what happens is just this beautiful little bubble pops up out of nowhere. It's already labeled. It has everything. It looks good. Now the color we can't change of the bubble unit itself without actually doing some major changes, and we don't want to do that. But now we have this beautiful little verify and the cancel button. So let's go to the menu really quick, and we're going to put in, I want 3 jawbreakers this time. So I just type in 3, and I press jawbreaker. Notice it changes to 0. It zeroes it out. Now if we go to invoice, and what do we see? Now we see that you've got a $4 in jawbreakers because there's 3 each of jawbreakers, and 20 cents for the tax. And so the total sale is $4. And I don't know why jawbreakers, I don't remember what the price of the individual jawbreaker was, but apparently it's odd. We'll find out, because how do you get $4.05 out of that? I don't know, but we'll discover that here in just a minute. So now you have total sale of $4.25, and notice your change due is 0. There's nothing there, but there actually is there. We just can't see it. So now if we put in $5, all of a sudden it pops right up. Bing, 75 cents. And we can cash sale, and look how pretty that is. But I think I want to make those. Let's do something really cool. Let's go one more step with what we want to do, and watch what we're going to do here. This is going to be totally amazing. You guys are going to love this. So we're going to go into the edit the layout, and we're going to go into our cash sale button. Now here we have these. And so if I click on this button, it tells me what it's actually doing. So, and if I go into, let's see, what happens if I go into none? No color. It won't. It's not going to cut the window, is it? Nope. All right. So let's go back into the solid color. And we need it to be, remember, we need these to be darker colors. But I so want them to be a gradient color. That's the funny thing. Oh, what? I I am selecting the wrong something or other. Solid color. Nice green color. Nice darker green color. Alright, so we do have an inner shadow, although I don't like the inner shadow. Let's see what we can do. Let's put the inner shadow at a white. Let's make it a beautiful white color. And we want the blur to be, let's change the spread. We'll make the spread larger. And we want to blur it a lot. Spread. Blur it a lot. Okay. And now if we offset this, this is what it looks like. It's kind of cool looking, right? It's kind of cool looking. Maybe not quite as cool looking as I thought it was going to look like when I first decided that let's try this, let's try this on live television, right? Let's go back here. Let's get rid of the inner shadow. Let's do these as gradients. And no, I can't do it as a gradient unless I change this to a yellow color. Dang it. I guess I'm stuck with a solid color of green. I was really hoping that we could make this like totally cool, like totally different. What I was hoping for is to make a disappearing bubble, something that, just would disappear. I thought that is going to look cool, right? But so this is what happens when... So right now it's just kind of floating out there. This is what... I'm going to move this over here so you guys can see what I'm doing. I totally forget sometimes that you guys can't see what I'm doing. So this is the theme is retro, so you can change... Apparently you can't change that. Style default. Revert change style. Okay, button. Normal. Where is it? Where is it? There is actually a way to change what happens to the button when you press on it. I thought it was an appearance. Paragraph. So you can actually make, you can actually hide things too. If you wanted to like hide a button. When is Andro doing his stream? CK wants to know. So Andro's stream is from 11:40 to 1:40. So it's right after my stream. So it's the next stream after this one. I am for positive that it was over here. That this was... Okay, so this is what happens if you press the button. So if it's pressed, then it'll change the color to this. And if you hover over it, it does that. And if you in focus it, it does that. And normal is it does that. So that is how you actually change them. So you would actually have to set up what every one of these does. So Tim, I not understand what you are doing. Oh, what I'm doing is I'm beautifying the register that I started. I'm making the buttons look better. I'm basically cleaning it up and bringing it together so it looks really super good. That's what I'm doing. So if I go to hover, or that's not what I want. If I go to pressed, this is what happens to the button when you press the button. And I want to change this color. God only knows why. To a brighter yellow color. Okay. And then we go to normal. Pressed. Normal. So now if we close it out, and I press, see what happens when I hover over it? If I press it, did you see how it changed to yellow when I pressed over it? So we actually changed what it does. And you can change what every one of these does when you just hover over them. like these. Just hover. But I really do like the way that this turned out, so I'm just going to leave it like that for now. So let's go back, because now what we need to do is we need to go back to the invoice, and I need to show you guys what I did here. So what I did here was I took the bottom line of buttons, and I'm not in edit layout. So I took these bottom buttons and I just stretched them. So they were, if we close them down, they were the same size. They were just like that. So I just removed these two buttons. You're having lunch and you're watching my stream. Why, thank you very much, CK. I appreciate that. I'm out of coffee. So they were that size, and what I did was I just grabbed them all because I didn't need these two buttons over here. There were just too many. And I said, hey, let's bring these all the way out, and it kind of made it look cool. And then what I did was I just selected a color variant. So I always want the menu to be green, and I always want exit to be red, and the invoice to be blue, so that I'm setting a scheme so that everything is the same on all of my different pages. And the quantity button is interesting because what I did, why not energy? Well, I can't do, it's CK is actually talking to me in the chat. Why not energy instead of the coffee? Well, because in the morning I love to have coffee, and here where I'm at, it's in the morning and I love coffee actually. So the thing that I wanted to show you really quick is this is actually two buttons. Put them both on top of each other. This one being clear, and this one being not clear. It's just a nothing button. I could have made the changes to this button, but instead I just put it on top of this button. And the reason why I did that is so that I could have better control over the button itself. Because in this instance, I'm going to grab my little inspector thingy. I'm just going to grab both of these, and we're going to go into position. We're just going to center them and center them. So now they're both dead smack on top of each other. We shouldn't have another issue with it. One of the cool things that you can do though is, let's do this really quick. I want to grab all of these, and I want to go into the appearance, and I want to do an outer shadow, and I want to make that not quite that dark. And let's go out, and let's go down. Remember, up is down. Up is down. So we're going to kind of add this beautiful shadow effect here. And we're going to blur the heck out of it. There we go. And you can change the spread ratios too. So if you change the spread ratios, what about water? I drink a lot of water, believe it or not, a lot of water. A whole cup and a half every day, by the way. CK is still talking to me on the chat, just for those viewers that are watching. So the spread is basically, see how it's different, how it's changing that? It's just like diffusing it farther and farther and farther. And so you can have that spread set at 4 or 5 or 6 or whatever you want to. I think I'm just going to kind of leave mine on 1. I like the way that looks. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to segregate and build something that looks super cool, so that when you are showing people what you have, or if you want it to look, obviously we want our registers as business owners to look very, very, very professional. You want it to look really good, so that when people come in, you can be like, hey, I made this, look what I did. And not to mention, you have customers, you have clients, you have other people. People are going to see this, and so you want certain things to stand out. So these I want to be very flat because they're my buttons for the products, and these I want to kind of stand out because they're directional buttons, or buttons that are going to take me somewhere. Okay? Now, you can have all of these the same color if you want to. If you want to just make them all gray, like a slate color, or you want to put rock, uh, uh, visual pictures of rocks inside of them. I think I showed you guys how to do that as well. That is fine too. You can certainly do that. I've seen some beautiful pieces of work where people have gotten a background, a marble background of a certain color that they really like, and all of their buttons are the same on the bottom with the, the marble background in there, and they're gorgeous looking. But I like mine to be easy to use and so I don't have to read the button. Of course, once you've done it for a while, you don't necessarily have to read the button, but this works really well for me, the colors, because I just associate the color and press on the button, and that works out beautiful. So here, now we have our menu 1 completed. I'm happy with the way that this looks. I'm happy with the style of it. So now what we would do is we would recreate this for my store anyway, probably 30, 40, 50 different times, and then put products on every single page. And then all of those pages would return, when you go to menu, would return to a primary menu page. And that primary menu page is a category page that disperses you across like all of these other categories, right? So we can do that really fast. And let me show you how to duplicate. Let me show you how to make something happen with this particular item. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my manage, my layouts. And so I'm on menu 1, as you can see. Now I can duplicate it. Bam. And I can now, I should be able to rename it. Edit. And so I'm going to name this one as my category page. Category page. I'm going to name it category page because that's probably a smart thing for me to do. Because otherwise I will totally forget. Now let's just go ahead and close that. So now I'm on menu 1, and if I exit this layout, I can go to my category page, and it's the exact same page, right? But I'm going to make some changes. So I want to edit the layout here really quick. And in my category page, I want all of these to be categories and not necessarily to be. So I want to get rid of all of these boxes on my category page, because there is no such thing as Control Z. Control Z. Obviously I deleted the wrong thing. So we're just gonna and you have to select them. If you don't select them, because what would happen is, let me show you. If I try to just select them, you're gonna select the whole unit, remember? So we can't do that. Now you can select, press and hold shift and select multiple ones. So you don't have to press delete every time. And we'll just delete those. I personally myself, doesn't bother me that it deletes. So if I click on this and I press in breads, I tell it to do nothing. So now here what we have is a problem, an issue where what I did was I set all of these and let's see, shift. I'm going to add these two along with it. We want it to all be new times Roman because that's kind of my favorite thing. I like them all to be 24. They can be bold, that's fine. They can be in the center, that's fine. But we're going to need to go into our inspector because these are in the wrong place, right? You can see how they are, they're not setting in the center. So if I add to these, that looks much better, I think, for center-wise. That does. That looks great for center-wise. Okay. Now we'll click this out. Now there's obviously a reason why these ones, if I delete it, oh, I'm going to have to delete this whole box, am I not? I am going to have to delete the whole box. And I'll just grab this box, and if I press and hold the control button, it'll just recreate another one. Press and hold the control button, it'll just recreate another one. It won't move it at all. So now this, I hate that when it does that. It just moves all by itself. So now if I exit the layout, these buttons, you can't push them because we haven't put anything in them yet. And the invoice, so if we go to invoice and then we go to menu, it's going to take us to the old menu, right? It's going to take us to the old place that we were at before. And that's not what we want. So let's go back to our invoice, and we need to change this button. So we're going to exit, and we're going to select, and right now it says go to menu. So we want to set variable. So it's, this one is actually setting the invoice number, and then set field, go to menu 1. Okay. We want it to actually go to our category page because that's going to be our new leading page. And that works out beautiful. So now if we exit this layout and we press the menu button, it will take us to our menu button, or this category page. So if you had you know, think of a fruit or vegetable or something that you guys want. So we could have, this one could be fruits. This one could be drinks. This one could be meats. I'm just typing in just whatever to show you that this is what you would do. So this one we're gonna call this one candies. And this candies one is actually going to take us to our other page, right? So I'm going to go ahead and click on it, and I'm going to tell it to do, it's just going to perform a single step because it doesn't need to do anything more than just perform a single step. And this one, I clicked on this white spot, okay? I'm going to type in the word go. It's going to say go to layout. And the layout that I want to go to is I'm going to select one. It's going to be the menu 1 page for this particular instance, although I am sure we will rename it later. And if you rename it, sometimes with FileMaker, sometimes it'll change it in your scripting, and sometimes it will not. So you might have to make sure that when you change the name of something that you're scripting appropriately, because that's kind of what you want to do. So now if we exit the layout and we touch candies, it will take us to this page that we were on before. And if we go to menu, it does nothing, so we need to do that really quick, just so we can have the circle of life going on for us. And we want this to take us to a single step. We're going to type in go to, or just go to layout. This should be old hat for you guys by now. You guys should easily be able to just go into these and do a really quick go to layout, because that's such an easy thing. I had a friend of mine the other day call me and he said, "Hey Tim, when I first got FileMaker, you know, I was thinking that I could produce something in a couple of days or maybe a week. You know, I could get it and go really fast and get all this stuff done and put it in my store and start using it." No, you can't. I have the exact same problem. When I very first bought FileMaker, that was the reason why I bought it, was because I thought I can create a program, I can do this program quickly, and I can get it into my store and start using it right away. And that's a foolish way to think. I think that what you need to do is you need to make absolutely positive that you take your time at this. This is not just something that you want to throw together and be like, oh great, it works, and put it on a tablet and or host it through FMP Hoster, and then put it up and start using it, because it's not going to do what you want it to do, and you don't want to make a lot of changes to it after you've got it. You want to do maintenance changes, but you don't want to do dramatic changes. So you want to get it all done first, and then post it, and then get it going. So here we have, obviously, edit layout. Something is wrong here. Something is wrong. There we go. Now it's right. And if we go to our category page, which is our big page, we're going to have to do that too, because it wasn't quite right. But notice now, if I go to my candies page and I go to my, see how it's all the same? That's what I want. I want it to be all the same, in the same spot, everything working perfectly. And now candies, menu takes me right back. Candies, menu takes me right back. And we'll set up that same thing so that we'll copy that menu 1 page like we just did. You guys just saw me do it. Copy the menu 1 page, put that menu 1, rename it to something like fruits, and then it'll go to fruits. And then all of them, no matter what you do, because we've programmed it in, invoice is always going to be invoice. So no matter what, like, notice what page I'm on now. I'm on the category page. If I press invoice, it takes me right to the invoice. Because I copied it. What I did was I duplicated the page. So anything that was on that page, it copies it. So here we have our beautiful button. We have the exact same button that we had before. Here's another one. And in this one, remember, it's brown. So we still have the old brown one. Tim, I will find you and then I will kill you. Okay, CK. You can find me and then kill me. Is that like a threat, or you're just like... So then what we're doing is we've brought in the... this page is going to be the same on the other one. So the third one down. So we brought this in with absolutely no changes. Now we can, if we make a change to this page, that's kind of interesting is, and I think that you guys should be fully well aware of that, is that if we make a change to this page, right, it will not make, a change in this page. And I'll show you that here in just a second. So what I'll do is I'll grab this. We'll edit the layout. Watch, I'll show you. And I want to grab my inspector really quick. And put my inspector over here so you guys can see what I'm doing with it. And I'm going to click on this. Change it to none. Actually, change it to none. And I do want the line on this one because these I just think is so cool. And I want this to be like, I don't know, a beautiful yellow color. A yellow color. I am going to do some more Assassin's Creed, CK. Maybe not today, but I'm going to do some Assassin's Creed. And now I'm going to click on all of these. Why is it not letting me do anything? So I'm going to click on all of these. I'm going to add that shadow effect. Remember the shadow effect that we did before? I don't want it to be quite so dark. Alright, let's set a nice blur pattern or a nice blur ratio. And we'll set the spread to 1. That looks good. So if we close that on an inspector and we close this out and we exit the layout, this one, see how we have the beautiful yellow line around it. I did not add, by the way, I didn't add the label yet. So as you can see, I just wanted to kind of show you how this is done. So here I have category items. I don't know why I capitalized all of that stuff, but I will fix that. And the drinks, the second drinks, beautiful yellow line. Okay, so now if I go to my menu and I push this drinks, it's still the same brown ugly thing as it was before. And this one, in-house drinks, this one, category items, just like it was before. So I think that is pretty much going to wrap up my beautification process. If you guys have any single thing that you want to add, or any ideas that you have, or any information, or you want to see something about FileMaker, this is, by the way, FileMaker 14 Pro Advanced, and that's kind of the last one that I'm going to buy. The new ones have some new things, but they're centering on the wrong thing, in my opinion. I think the new ones, the newer modeled ones, the 15 and the 16, they're centering more around the FM server, the FM FileMaker server platform, and try and make them so they're like, oh, they're more accessible to the individuals, but they're not. And what I mean by that is, if you're a large company and you can afford to pay $100 a month for five access. If you guys do any research at all on FileMaker, you'll find out they charge you by every thing that is accessing your program. So if you have you post your program and you're hosting your own server with this program, you have to pay them for everyone that connects to your system. So if you have 5,000 people accidentally connecting to your system, then you have to pay for those 5,000 people that have connected to your system. And that's not something that we want to do. And that's the reason why the FileMaker 15 and the FileMaker 16 are not my friends, and they're not something that I really want to get into. I love the FileMaker 14 Pro that I have. It works really, really well. It does exactly what I want to, and as long as it's supported on FMP host, I'm going to live with it forever and ever, ever. Amen. And when that happens, when it stops happening, I guess I will do something else or figure something else out, and then we'll start a whole new series on how to do that and transfer data from one to the other and all that neat stuff, so you don't lose your stuff. But for sure, do let me know if you guys have any ideas, you want to know anything, or you guys have any information that you would like to know about. Just remember that this is actually, what we're doing is we're building a digital register for people that own, small business owners that have a store. And so this is kind of what we did, and we're going from there. I think we're just about done with this, actually. I can't think of a lot of other things that I want to do with it. We already have our admin sections. Primary, we have sales reporting. And I think that reports all of the sales that we did every single day. We're going to the admin. We have buttons and things that we can do for the admin portal. Going to security. 1, 2, 3, 4, I think is what I did for security. So remember that the breach reporting was, it tells us every time someone tries to get into something. And so today, actually just a second ago, someone tried to get in, and that was me. And so we go back to the admin, button, daily sales and inventory. 1, 2, 3, 4, inventory. And obviously you can't see anything. Sort records. Because we don't have many records, that's the reason why. So yes, bubblegum, jawbreakers, quantity. Jawbreakers are $1. And then the sale price is $1.35 for some odd reason. Oh, because okay, so they're $1.35. That's what they are. That's the reason why we ended up with an odd number. So this is our basic inventory that tells how much we have in every single category. So currently we have $94 worth of bubblegum and Jawbreakers and $120. That's our value that we paid for it, remember? And this is the amount that it is worth. So if you guys have any questions, if you guys want anything new, if you guys want me to show you how to do something interesting, cool, wonderful, that hide key program is pretty cool. If you you just have to select variables. So if you select a variable, like if you set a button window or a button script, let's see, go to main menu, admin, menu, and see, it's going to take us to the wrong menu page. Menu. We need to get back to that original. We do need to build us a thing to get back to that original portal, but you guys already know how to do that. So that's pretty much it for today. We will see you guys on the next stream. I hope you guys give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to, and let me know in the comments what you guys want to see, and I will do it with Filemaker. That would be amazing. So thanks everybody for watching. I hope you guys have a great day, and we will see you guys in the next stream. Thanks.